Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, David.
Is everyone awake and ready?
Awake and ready.
Let us pray together. O Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
beloved Jesus Christ,
beloved Jesus Christ,
Great Master,
Great Master,
beloved Mother,
beloved Mother,
saints and sages of all religions,
saints and sages of all religions,
I bow to all of you.
I bow to all of you.
Free my life from all obstacles.
Free my life from all obstacles.
And give me physical, mental, and spiritual development.
And give me physical, mental, and spiritual development.
And make my mind thy temple.
Make my mind thy temple.
Make my heart thy altar.
Make my heart thy altar.
Make my love thy home.
Make my love thy home.
Be thou the only king,
Be thou the only king,
reigning on the throne of my consciousness.
reigning on the throne of my consciousness.
Peace,
Peace,
bliss,
bliss.
amen.
Amen.
Something funny and lovely at the same time. This is the first time that I've received a letter on a napkin. This comes from Kathy Kelly. Dear David, I'm in my car, no paper, but wanted to get this mailed. She's mailing in her typing. Continued light coming to you as your body heals. God is great. God is majestic and shines above all the winter clouds. God, Christ, Guru. Great words on a napkin. Good use for the napkin. And an email from Kate as they celebrated Mother's Mahasamadhi at the Nandashram. Kate wrote, of course they're earlier than we are, a day earlier. The afternoon session on Mother went well. I opened with Mother's prayer, read your message, and then a little background on Mother, read the excerpt from Mother's talk, spoke more about her teachings, took questions, and ended with Ohms and Ramna. All said they could feel Mother's presence and said they learned new things about her. So I responded, to make Mother's presence more conscious to the ashramites. Such a great thing to do. Each may draw from Mother exactly what is needed, but I think that her emphasis on not being sinners but sons of God, and that she loved both the human and the divine in each one of us, are two timeless and timely messages from which many can draw inspiration. Thank you for your seva. Please pass on my loving pronouns. And she responded, thank you, David. It has been my great privilege. You should see how radiant Mother's picture is in the Bhajan Hall today between Papa and Mataji with the garland and beautiful flower arrangement we ordered. So, lovely to have her there representing Mother for all of us. And this is what she had read, that I had written, fully human and divine. In the year 2016, we celebrate the silver anniversary of Mother's Mahasamadhi, the conscious leaving of the body by a great spiritual master such as Mother is but a capstone to the remarkable life she lived beforehand. In writing about Mother, I remember watching an interview with a famous actress in which she said the best advice she ever received was to not try to portray all aspects of her character in one scene. In that same way, there is no possibility of conveying who or what Mother truly was with one or even a million tries. All we can hope to do is give a glimpse of the uniqueness of her divine life. Being in her presence, I always felt that Mother was at once so warm and loving, and at the same time, I could never fully know her. There was an infinite and unknowable source for her natural human expression. Far from being disconcerting, this unknowable aspect gave a hint about her divine nature. Mother was unique in many ways, but one aspect of her nature she revealed when she described her state of realization, quote, I am both fully human and divine. As aspiring souls, we oftentimes see our humanness as an obstacle to attaining the realization of God. And in truth, that may be so in the moment. Therefore, we envision a realized master as no longer having any humanness left. It has all been consumed in the fire of divine realization. However, true spiritual masters have transcended delusion, do not fear their continued human expression. Rather, they see it as a natural expression of their divinity, a barrier no more. Mother clearly saw people, nature, and all creation as expressions of the infinite consciousness of God. Therefore, she loved all life, for it was all God. This transformation of consciousness from the purely human to the purely divine, from the purely human to both human and divine is difficult for us to conceive. It is one of the many reasons for having a living guru. In the guru, we meet both the human and divine, and it forces us to face what seems like a hopeless paradox to our searching minds. I would sometimes wonder what Mother was doing when home alone. Was she levitating up on the ceiling? Would I be surprised if she was watching some television? Or would it shock me that she was a wonderful cook and enjoyed eating what she prepared, or that she drank a cup of coffee after her meal? That she loved being with people, and she also valued having her privacy as well? For some, these human elements took away from Mother's divine attainment. But for sincere aspirants, it gave hope. Self-realization was not a star unobtainable. Through Mother's simple human expression, you get a glimpse of God as intimately connected with yourself, as well as being so much more. And this was Mother's message to all of us. Yes, you are a human being, but never forget that you are infinite in nature as well. While living your life as a human, you have the capacity to realize your divine nature that is so well hidden within you. Do not give up because you are too much aware of your humanity, but seek out God with all your will, with all your attention, and very importantly, with all your love. For as the Galilean master once said, ask and it will be given, seek and you will find. For grace will do the heavy lifting. When you give your all, you need not fear or despair. This message is not just for a lucky few, but it is for all. I can think of no better way to honor Mother's tremendous life than to emulate her by seeking out God and His heaven with everything you have, and to serve Him in all those with whom your life comes into contact. Always remember that behind the veil of materiality, Mother's grace is constantly being showered upon you. She may have shed her mortal coil, but her tremendous love for you has never been greater. A love for both your humanity and your divinity. I'd like to read from this past journal Mother is writing. Each one of us sees his own Christ upon his own cross. That is why so many pictures which have been painted of Christ all are different, because they are the artist's conception of what he sees the Christ to be, because that Christ is universal. He has form, but he goes beyond form. He is pure spirit, he is pure light. And I want to tell you that the road is not easy. You will have to be willing to suffer, but you have a choice to make. You can go on suffering day by day with all the mundane things of the world, the ups and the downs, the disappointments and the joys. One moment you're up, you're in heaven because something you want is going to happen. The next minute you're down in the depths of despair because it has been taken away from you, or things aren't just the way you want. And you say, oh Lord, help me, help me. And there he is walking beside you all the time. Lo, I am with you always, inside of you, your comfort, the one who is ready to pack your burdens, the one who is ready to do everything for you, the one who has all knowledge, all power over all the kingdoms of not only your body, but of all the earth. And if you will only contact him, who is the source of all things, When you come to that point, then you start to go on a greater journey. The soul is lifted up and you come into contact with the metaphysical world. Then you come into contact with the higher spiritual world. And then you are given a teacher. Many of them are not masters. They have come a great way. These are called saints. And then you find sometimes a supreme master who has gone all the way, who has truly picked up their cross and followed the Christ, gone through the state of human death and come back to teach a doubting world the truth of what they have experienced. I have told you many times, because it is one of the books that was written about Ramakrishna, that he told the story of the salt doll who went into the ocean and hoped to come out of that ocean and tell everybody what the experience was. But when the salt doll went into the ocean, she melted because she was made of salt and she couldn't come out. But the one who goes all the way is blessed indeed. And that one sees the spirit of the ocean, which draws again the salt to her bosom and fashions a form upon which he leaves on the shore to tell all men that God is life and life is God. And there is no such thing as death. I want you to remember that. There is no such thing as death. But during your sojourn here, God has given you this life. He has put you here at this moment in time, and he has put you here for one purpose, and that is to find your union with him, to find out who and what you are, your true self. You must let him make the decision as to when it is time for you to leave, because if you die to the humanness within you, that is a good death. It should be rejoiced over. Certainly, it is a tremendous experience. Some of you say, many of you have said to me, I can't bear the thought of when you leave this body. The time has to come sometime, you know. But my spirit is the spirit of God, even as yours is. And so I can say to you, like the Christ, lo, I am with you always, because his spirit, which is my own and yours, is within you. And who knows, and I would hate to think that you would destroy yourself, that you would go backwards. I would like to think that you, like I did, when I had the tremendous grief of losing my own guru, do everything in the world, turn it upside down to show my love for him, to put forth the truth of his teachings. And I went through plenty, believe me, and I still go through it to this day because I'm still getting repercussions because of the fact I fought for the truth which he came to give. But it doesn't matter to me because I still stand on his instructions to me, that not of an organization. I stand on the instructions of God and my own guru, and I have full license, full freedom to teach from that which I myself have experienced. So what do I need to fear? Nothing. Yet constantly, no matter where I go, I have this little thorn in my side. It doesn't matter, only to those who do it, because they are the ones that are going to have to one day pay for it. We build karma that we know not us sometimes, and that is too bad. And only when we are in the midst of the tremendous experience that each soul must go through, do we wish to God that we hadn't done some of the things that we have. And yet, that too was God, because life is a growing experience, and God is all of life. And it is through the mistakes that we make when we finally are lifted up. We learn our lessons. Knowledge comes through suffering, not through anything else. And when you have suffered sufficiently and gone into the heaven of your own being, you will find that everything I tell you is true. Many of you have experienced it. You have tasted it. And one more reading from the Gospel of Swami Ramdas. Begins with Mother's husband, Ralph. asking Papa. To see God within, what should be done? Papa, one should pray to God within to reveal himself. One should meditate on him. First of all, one has to know and believe that God is within. Then only can one direct all of one's prayers to him within. The mind must be attuned to him constantly. Then alone can he be realized in one's heart. Father, but meditation is difficult. Papa, constant practice is necessary. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same has been discussed. Arjuna, after hearing something about divine knowledge from the lips of Lord Krishna, asks the Lord how he can control the mind, which is restless as the wind and hard to still. The Lord answers that it is, no doubt, difficult to control the mind, but it is possible to do with avisya and vairagya. Avisya means practice, and vairagya means dispassion. You should have regular practice of the spiritual disciplines, and you must have absolute dispassion for worldly things. You must be completely detached from that. Dispassion comes by discrimination. You must know that all things in the world are perishable, and by attaching ourselves to them, thinking that we will be happy, we get nothing but sorrow and misery. The happiness that you get in the world is momentary and is always followed by unhappiness. So we must not run after these illusory things. Real happiness comes only from God. We must get detached from the worldly things and attach ourselves to God, who is absolute bliss and peace. When our mind is attached to God, you will think of him constantly. Then meditation becomes easy. Steady and constant practice is also required to attain quicker results. Father Hamilton. They may take several births to attain that standard of meditation. How many of you have thought that? And Papa says, no. Pray to God earnestly, and he will come to your rescue. Of course, when you pray, you must have that much faith. By his grace, everything is possible. If man tries to succeed by his own effort, he fails. If he fails, so much the better for him, because he learns that he is weak and helpless. See what he says here? If he fails, so much the better for him, because he learns that he is weak and helpless. In that helplessness, God's grace will flow into him. When we think we are capable of doing something, he will leave it up to us to do. In this connection, Ram Dass remembers a story. A devotee of Shiva was passing through a forest. He had in his possession a few valuable articles. Seeing him, a robber wanted to waylay him. When the robber drew near, the devotee knew that he would be robbed of his valuables. He shouted aloud the name of Shiva and cried for help. Shiva was then talking to his consort, Parvati, in Kailash. Shiva suddenly left Parvati and came away without telling her. But in a few seconds, Shiva went back. To Parvati's question, Shiva explained. A devotee was in danger and called out for my help. As I was going to him, I saw he was taking a stone in his hand and was about to fling it at the robber. When the devotee thought he could take care of himself, I had nothing to do, so I came away. You see how God is ready to come to our help when we call on him in a state of helplessness. But if we have a trace of feeling that we can help ourselves, he will not come to our aid. When we are talking about Shiva and Parvati, Ram Dass will tell you something else. Shiva used to go away from Kailash, leaving Parvati alone. He never felt sad that he had to go alone, as he had realized his oneness with all beings and knew that there is really no separation from Parvati. But Parvati did not have this experience. She felt lonely when Shiva was away from her. One day, she requested Shiva to give her the same experience as he had, so that she would also not feel his absence. Shiva agreed and asked her to sit for meditation in a particular posture and close her eyes. When she did so, he asked, What do you see in your mental vision? I see your form because you are the beloved of my heart. Seeing my form is no good. You must take your mind deeper. What do you see now? I hear the Om. That won't do. When you hear the Om, the hearer and the heard are separate. They must merge into one. Go deeper still. What do you see now? I see flashes of light. When you see light, the seer and the seen are separate. They must merge into one. Go deeper still. What do you see now? There is no answer. Shiva asked again, what do you see now? What do you see now? There was no answer. She had merged into the infinite existence of God, the universal self. She no longer remained as a separate entity to say what she saw or heard. After some time, she returned to world consciousness. The words Aham Brahmansi issued from her. She had experienced her absolute oneness with the infinite existence and could no longer feel the separation from Shiva. What that absolute experience is cannot be described. Those who have experienced it know what it is, but they cannot tell others what it is. It cannot be expressed in words. In this connection, Ramdas will tell you another story. There was a Brahmin who had 2 boys whom he had sent to the hermitage of a sage for 12 years of study. During their stay with the master, the boys learnt everything and returned home. Their father called one of them and asked him to tell him what Brahman is. The boy went on quoting from the scriptures all that he could remember to tell his father about Brahman. The father then called the other boy and asked him the same question repeatedly. The boy kept silent. There was no answer at all. The father then said, son, you have found him, but your brother has not. Brahman cannot be expressed in words. Those who have found him do not try to explain what he is. They remain in silence. Silence is Brahman. Om is the first sound that rose from the bosom of the infinite existence of God. As though to break the silence that ensued, the devotee asked a question about the scriptures, and Papa answered at length, describing the events as having actually happened historically. Then Mother Hamilton, Papa, I would like to verify a revelation which God has given me. You speak of the scriptures as actual history of places, people, and events described. Is it not true that, as God has shown me, that every scripture tells not only about the creation or expression of God in the form of the universe and various stellar systems, but also that they tell the story of the evolution of every man, from the human to the divine? Papa looked straight at Mother Hamilton and said in a very powerful voice, you have made him say it. She said afterwards that as Papa looked at her and spoke those words so forcefully, it was as though a bolt of lightning had gone right through the center of her head. It was a great moment of truth. And so, of course, we come today to honor Mother's life and the impact that she's had on this world. When I read what she had said about everybody wanting to go with her, it reminded me of a time that I had asked her. I said, Mother, when you leave this body, you should take us all with you, because none of us want to be here without you. And she said, well, who would carry on the work then? So it was left at that, and I guess we were to be left behind in that sense. We have all come to accomplish something great in this life, and Mother reminded us of that constantly, because it is our want to go with this world, to get swayed into all the concerns that this world represents. It takes real work. in order to redirect the mind away from this world and direct it towards God. This is true in the beginning because we have been so conditioned by being in this world that it is all powerful. It is the thing that we must bow in obedience to. But this is absolutely false, and as Papa pointed out, the more times that we try on our own, the more happiness that we seek in this world only, the more disappointed we get. Now, this may take many, many lifetimes. We are very sure of our theory that this world can be bent in such a way that we will achieve absolute happiness, joy, and bliss right here in this life without God. But it is not possible. So the Guru comes to awaken us. This is what the Guru means, that it is the light that takes away the darkness. And it is that illumination, it is that understanding and realization that comes to us. That is the only purpose for the Guru to be in the body. And so Mother fulfilled that purpose. She lifted up all those with whom she came into contact with. She taught the truth as God had given it to her. She expended herself night and day in order to do this. And as a result of that, many, many souls were lifted up. Now, Jesus once said that many are called, but few are chosen. And as you know, sometimes I have slightly changed that. And I say many are called, but few choose. Because it is our choosing that is most important in the beginning. God's grace certainly comes into us. If somebody has never had any God experience whatsoever, I don't blame them for doubting or not thinking that there is a God. Other than the physical evidence in this world, you look at the tremendous design that has gone in, the intelligence, the power of this creation. And all you have to do is ask yourself, could this happen by happenstance? And it's so clear that it cannot be. There is design to all of this. Well, if you admit that, then it opens the door. All right, who is the designer? What is the intelligence? Where does it come from? You may not believe in the traditional God as oftentimes it's been given down, sitting in some antiseptic corner of the universe with a beard, a long gown, and handing out smokes and smites left and right. And that's all right, because that is a child's version of what God is, and can never contain the tremendous intelligence, the tremendous power, the tremendous realization of what God consciousness is. We must start out as an empty vessel because this mind cannot know God in the beginning. And so Mother came to teach us this, to awaken us to this. And therefore, she stands as foremost of teachers, both universal and mundane, because the truth that she taught could free us from the mundane, free us from ignorance, and bring us into that full and complete realization if we but choose. So with that, it's an introduction. Today I wanted to play the only recording, the video recording we have of Mother giving a talk. And I don't know why it turned out to be the only video recording. It was all available at the time, but Mother was very mysterious in these kinds of things. She orchestrated things exactly the way that she wanted it. So this is what we have, and so I'd like to play it today. So if you can maneuver yourselves to where you can see the television set, then yes, okay. It's just slow. She gives some announcements here. What year is this here? 1981. 1981. Just before Mother left for 81 is okay.
I mean, around to Australia.
Yes. Yeah, just before she left for Australia and Fiji Islands. So it's really the beginning of the crucifixion that she went through at the end of the life.
Counselors that will meet together. We're going to have these programs for our children, for our youth, for all of us. And promises to be very beautiful, very wonderful, very exciting. Make it know that above all things else, love God. Love God. I have something that one of the devotees gave me when I brought it to church. And it says, I know I'm somebody, because God don't make no junk. Isn't that beautiful? I know I'm somebody, because God don't make no junk. Another devotee gave me this poem, and I think it is absolutely tremendous, and it's absolutely true. I would like to share it with you. Behind the facade, please hear what I'm not saying. Don't be fooled by me. Don't be fooled by the face I wear, for I wear 1,000 masks, masks that I'm afraid to take off, and none of them are me. Pretending is an art that's second nature with me, but don't be fooled. For God's sake, don't be fooled. I give the impression that I'm secure, that all is sunny and unruffled with me, within as well as without. Then confidence is my name, and coolness my game. That's the water's calm, and I'm in command, and that I need no one. That the water's calm, and I'm in command, and that I need no one. But don't believe me, please. No surface may seem smooth, but my surface is my mask. Beneath this lies no complacence. Beneath dwells the real me in confusion, in fear and aloneness. But I hide this. I don't want anybody to know it. I panic at the thought of my weakness and fear of being exposed. That's why I frantically create a mask to hide behind. A nonchalant, sophisticated facade to help me pretend, to shield me from the glance that knows. But such a glance is precisely my salvation, my only salvation, and I know it. That is, if it is followed by acceptance, if it is followed by love. It's the only thing that will assure myself what I can assure of me, that I'm worth something. But I don't tell you this. I don't dare. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid your glance will not be followed by acceptance and love. I'm afraid you'll think less of me, that you'll laugh at me, and your laugh would kill me. I'm afraid that deep down I'm nothing, that I'm no good, and that you will see this and reject me. So I play my game, my desperate game, with a facade of assurance without, and a trembling child within. And so begins the parade of masks, and my life becomes a front. I only chatter to you in the suave tones of surface talk. I tell you everything that is really nothing, and nothing of what's really everything, of what's kind within me. So when I'm going through my routine, do not be fooled by what I'm saying. Please listen carefully and try to hear what I'm not saying, what I'd like to be able to say, what for survival I need to say, but what I can't say. I dislike hiding, honestly. I dislike the superficial game I'm playing, the phony game. I'd really like to be genuine and spontaneous and me, but you've got to help me. You've got to hold out your hand, even when that's the last thing I seem to want. Only you can wipe away from my eyes the blanket of breathing death. Only you can call me into aliveness. Each time you're kind and gentle and encouraging, each time you try to understand because you really care, my heart begins to grow wings, very small wings, very feeble wings, but wings. With your sensitivity and sympathy and your power of understanding, you can breathe life into me. I want you to know that. I want you to know how important you are to me, how you can be the creator of a person that is me if you choose to. Please choose to. You alone can break down the wall behind which I tremble. You alone can remove my mask. You alone can release me from my shadow world of panic and uncertainty, from a lonely person. Do not pass me by. Please, do not pass me by. It will not be easy for you. A long conviction of worthlessness builds strong walls. The nearer you approach me, the blinder I strike back. I fight against the very thing I cry out for. But I am told that love is stronger than walls, and in this lies my hope. Please try to beat down those walls with firm hands, but with gentle hands, for a child is very sensitive. Who am I, you may wonder? I am somebody you know very well. I am every man and every woman you meet. This is the way we are underneath. And all of these things we do, we live. And I would like to read to you from the vision, an article by Swami Randas entitled Luminous Surroundings. When fog fills space and all seems to be dark, comes the sun to dispel the gloom and bring light and brightness. So also when the shining luster of the soul is unveiled, dissolving the thick mists of nescience that envelops it, it brings pure freedom and joy. Then you behold all the manifestation as your self-expression. What a blessed vision. You are truly truth immortal. All changes are phenomenal. You are the unmoving center of the universe, and also the all-pervading consciousness, the supreme reality. Wake up from the torpor of an unreal, divided and elusive life. Assert your divinity and say, I am the substance of all that exists, the immutable, all-encompassing, living spirit and truth. There is none and nothing but I. The luminous movement divine causes the worlds to appear in the infinite airspace like the scintillating lights in an enthralling pageant. What a grand display. You are standing apart from it and witnessing the charming scene. You are lost in the drama unscreened before you, a drama in which all actors are yourself, for the seer and the scene are one. Are you not loving yourself and fighting with yourself? What a wonderful play. You are riding on the storm and lying in peace on the bed of stillness. You are the storm in the stillness. In the darkness you dwell. You are the darkness. In the light you dwell. You are the light. You are also beyond darkness and light. What a marvel you are. Your presence permeates the green meadows, hills, and valleys, in which grow tall trees, shrubs, and emerald vegetation. You are shining in the thin white clouds that sweep over the sky in which the gazer's eyes wander in fascination. You are beauty and excellence unsurpassing. Are you not the composer of this prose poem? All is yourself. You are in the flight of birds in the heavens, birds returning to their nests as the evening sets in. You are men and women that gather for a gala time, and the children that play on the lawn. How adorable you are. Where can I seek you? There is no place where you are not. Verily, I am yourself, and you are myself. Isn't that beautiful? That's how you become when you start to get rid of of the things that I read to you in the first poem. I would like to read to you this morning from Isaiah chapter 40, beginning with verse 28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. This poem that I read to you this morning inspired me to entitle this sermon, Behind the Mask. Each and every one of us wears a mask, and each and every one of us is exactly like that poem that I read. All of us know. We play games. We do this so that we may appear well in the eyes of the people we meet, our friends, our relatives, and our associates. Always this little eye is reaching out for approbation. It is reaching out, looking to be loved, to be liked, to be respected. And so we wear this mask. And it is a very strong mask indeed. I remember that when I was in India, that I had a tremendous experience. I was in this experience of going through the mystical crucifixion. My love, my devotion for my Guru was beyond belief. I was there because of him. I was there to find out how I could continue to put forth the tremendous and beautiful truth which he had given to me all my life. God lifted me up into this fantastic experience. And believe me, the revelations that came were tremendous. I was taken up into the heaven of my own being and taken down into the hell of my own being, and all the places in between. But one vision that came to me was a very strange one. All of a sudden I saw the face of my master. There was a dot in the center of the forehead, as the Hindus use it. This is the seat of the spiritual eye, so they put this sandalwood paste on there to denote that. I saw this dot right in the center of the forehead, and then it started moving, and a mask appeared on his face, and the dot moved a little, and the mask appeared to move a little, and the dot moved a little. And I wondered what was behind that mask. And that game was played over and over again for some little time. I had been given a vision of another master that was supposed to be totally God-realized, but God told me that he was not. That he was quite the opposite. That while seeming to take people to God, still, he said, what do you want with the absolute? What do you want with Nirvikalpa? Let us all keep a veil between ourselves and the infinite. And I thought, this man is God when he's trying to keep man from the recognition of his oneness with God in that way. So I suspected in the strange state that I was in, that perhaps it was he hiding behind the face of my Guru. And I went back and forth and up and down, and I thought with myself, trying to get the truth. And the truth didn't come at that time. The truth comes to each and every one of us gradually. Gradually, as we place our attention more and more upon God. As we follow the true path to God, as we overcome the idea of religious separations and divisions, we realize that we have removed a mask, that a little bit of light shines more greatly than it did before. The consciousness expands. The whole being changes. The life changes. And everything that we think, say, and do takes on a new aspect. The things that we used to do, perhaps some drank, some smoked, some were on drugs, some were into sex, regardless of what it is. You can't do that anymore. And you don't like to be around people who do. But you mustn't shut them up. Remember that little poem. I don't know if I can remember it exactly. They drew a circle to keep me out. They called me irritated, infidel, a thing which was not. But God and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took them in. I look forward to the day when all of these religious names disappear. When we know that truly there is one God, one Christ, one religion, that God is the Father of us all, that Christ is that life, that intelligence, which is in each and every one of us. If the religion is the religion of man, if we will pursue in our search for truth, we will find that that is the truth. There will be no more religious wars, no more killing of good men and good women, because they stood up for a principle. But rather, the whole world will change gradually and become a thing of life. It isn't supposed to happen for thousands of years. But now, this is the forerunner of what is to come in the future. And we must dissolve these divisions which keep us apart. We must love one another regardless of race, color, or creed. There is nothing wrong in what I teach you. I teach you the absolute truth, because God is everywhere equally present. If only the so-called Christians could get to heaven, could get to be one with the Father God and heirs with Christ, how unjust God would be. Because I have traveled this world over and I have seen people who were so spiritual, so devoted, so dedicated to God, that their whole beings were filled with life. And the power that filled them was so great that even to be in their presence was a miracle, and you felt so lifted and your life was changed, never to be the same again. This is the way we should be. This is what religion should be, if we must have a religion. But we have to go beyond religion, because God is to be found, as the Christ said, as is the kingdom of heaven, right within ourselves, no place else. If nobody can make it, if nobody can equal what the Master Christ did, what are we working for? Why do we waste our time? Everybody needs a spiritual teacher on the path, and there are many. And each one that comes is good and serves the people at the level of consciousness which they can accept at that particular moment. And so God is there, and it is good. And it should not be put down. But there are people who are spreading hate in the name of Christ. What sort of belief is this? They force what they believe, or they try to, on someone else. We don't want to force anyone. The vows that Keith took the other night was to respect the right of every man to worship God as God himself within him directed him to do. To respect all men regardless of race, color, of creed. Not ever to charge for anything that he did for him. Now believe me, that is service to God in the highest sense. If God had meant the people of Asia to be Christians and come over here and convert us, he would have. Many have come over to try to tell us what they believe to be the truth. So we send missionaries over there. Everybody is trying to force their own belief on somebody else. And this should not be. There should be no force. Offer it And if they are ready for it, if they want it, then give it to them with all of your heart, your mind, your souls. But do never force it. I was thinking the other day, or somebody thought it, and I picked it up. So many are in the business called horsemen now, which are very fine products. There are only a few of them, and they've tried to develop them as purely as possible. And so we start out with a product, and we move to a longer level of business. God is the product, and you and those to come will be the distributors, the directors. And I'm told that when you get to be director, that you're given a special bonus, and you can take a trip. I think there's one coming up for Bermuda for the ones that make it. Mm-hmm. Now, the same thing, you see, is true of God, because we have a product to sell, and that product is job. And certainly it's a multi-line business because it covers every single person in this world, every business that has ever come into existence. And also, we have to distribute it all over. And we get the reward. We're taken to a new city, a new country, a new level of consciousness. And when you get into that land of promise that has been talked about down through the ages, believe me, the experience is beyond your wildest dreams. I remember before I ever went to India, I had tremendous spiritual experiences because of my great love for God. Believe me, I was in the seventh heaven, and He lifted me up and He put me through many, many things. I had many experiences before I went into the great experience in India. And one experience was when the power of the Holy Ghost came upon me. And I was taken up into the ecstasy, the rapture of God. And I remember that I was so much in it. I was trying to scrub the floor, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I made some coffee, and I made some soup, and I poured the soup into the coffee cup and the coffee into the soup bowl. It was a very, very strange experience. But somehow, God saved me from remaining in that experience. He made me know that that was the highest that one could experience in the human sense. That's when the whole being becomes spiritual. But you must go on. You must go beyond that. You must go through the crucifixion of the human ego, the Son of Man, and then go through the transformation, which gradually takes you into the divine. Certainly the Catholic idea of purgatory is a real one, because you must be purged of all that has kept you from the realization of your oneness with God. So you descend into the hell of your own being, you arise from the dead, the purging takes place, and gradually you arise and go through the various states of consciousness which take you into the heaven of your own being, and then finally beyond. When you are not only face to face with God, but you have become one with Him so completely that all consciousness of duality has left you, and you are just in this tremendous state of self-awareness, of bliss. Many people hesitate to go through what is necessary. They prefer to remain in bondage, attached to things. I want this, I need this, I'm going to have that, and anybody that still is in that state of consciousness, believe me, is a long way from God realization. You must have come to the point where you're willing to sacrifice everything and anything, that you're not reaching out for the things of the senses, but for God alone. God alone. Through the Christ consciousness, which is the firstborn creature firstborn of every creature. It is the life, the intelligence, the power, the will, the everything that is Christ in you. That is the Son of God. And that's what you must attain. There's a story told of the Hopi Indians. And the chief of the Hopi nation was about to go to the land of his forefathers. He knew that he was going to go, and he knew that he must appoint somebody in his place. So he prepared a strange test. Way over in the east, there were some tall, dark mountains. It was quite a ways from where the Hopi nation at that time was residing. So he decided to choose 5 of the best young men that were under him and give each of them a test. So he sent them and he said, whoever can go the farthest and bring back evidence of it, that one would be the chief of the Hopi nation. So the first youth started out. He was gone a little while and he came back with a piece of cactus. And the chief said to him, you have gone as far as the salt marsh, but you have not crossed it. The second one went forth. And after a longer time, he came back with a piece of sagebrush. And the chief said to him, you have crossed the salt marsh, but not the desert. The third brave set forth and brought back, after a longer period of time, a branch of cottonwood. So the chief said to this one, you have climbed the foothills and upwards as far as the springs. The fourth one went, and he was gone for quite some time. And he came back with a pine cone. The chief said to him, you have done very well, my son. You have crossed the salt marsh and desert. You have reached the foothills and springs and climbed to the land of the pine tree. The fifth one went out. He journeyed to the east. And he was gone a long, long time, and they began to fear that he would never come back. But finally, in the great distance, they saw him walking. He was walking as one not aware of anything around him. He returned with empty hands, with no tangible evidence to prove the distance that he had traversed. None whatsoever. His face was filled with a light that was beyond all of the things of earth. He tried to speak, but his tongue wouldn't move. There was this glow, this indefinable and intangible glow in his face. Finally, his tongue moved haltingly, and he said, I have seen the sea. And the Hopi chief said, my son, it is you alone who are worthy to be the chief of the Hopi nation. And so it is. Today we could liken it to the man that had done a lot of good deeds. And he came back with a bag of gold. Then another man went to war to fight for righteousness. And he came back with decorations as a token of his valor in Christian service. There was another one who could point to his superb health and say that he had God realization because of it. Another one could have scars gained in a crusade for righteousness, and he could point to those who would cry. But when the fifth one comes with empty hands, with a glow, you can say to that one, truly, you have seen God the Father. You have come face to face. Remember that it says in the Bible that no man has seen God at any time. And this is true. Man, in his human state, cannot see God. But as he lifts himself up, as he follows the path, as he obeys God's commandments, as he forgets the things of the senses and reaches out for God alone, then gradually that one discovers within the sanctuary of his own soul the eternal, inimitable, shining, wonderful, glorious God, the Son of all creation, the Creator himself, who is expressing himself in this form which he has created. That form is no longer the Son of Man. And that one has not only come face to face with God, but has become God in human form. Such a one can move the peoples of the earth. There will be wars and rumors of wars, and we have them in great nation. Nation will fight against nation. Son against father and mother, and daughter against father and mother, sisters and brothers fighting one against the other. But out of it all, if we who are on the path of truth remain steadfast, the day will come when all of this will change, and God will come forth in his shining light. That Christ will walk the earth in a garment of light and remove the stones of darkness that have kept men in bondage behind the mask for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. We know not how. This is a new age. It is a new moment in history. And thank God that God put me through what he did to show me the truth, so that I am no longer in bondage, but that I am a child of God, a free woman in Christ. I ask God to bless each and every one of you. And I give you all the love of my heart and the blessings from God within myself. It is said that when one attains the state of the realization of oneness with God, that there is a spiritual ambience that goes forth from him to the farthest corner of the earth, and that whoever draws upon that spirit with faith, that same shall have his prayer answered. It has happened to me many times with my own guru. I used to think, as perhaps many of you do, that he knew every thought, every word, every action, every minute of my life. How is it possible? It isn't, you know. But whatever it was given to him to know, whatever God wanted him to know, that he knew, and that he did. But still, that spirit within such a form is so strong that it goes out and it heals. And I am here because of the tremendous power in this beautiful man of God, that who became master of himself and whom I lovingly and reverently call my guru, the one who came to take me out of the darkness into the light of God's eternal presence. Bless you, my children. Send me your love, as mine shall be always with you. May his blessings be upon you now and forever, for all eternity. I'll be gone just a minute, and I will go to the back, and will you please all move along quickly. I'll hug each one of you, give you a last fond embrace for this present time. Hope to see you several months again and have many strange and wonderful things to say. Let's hear about it. Then we come together again, those that have things to be heated in the oven.
So wonderful to have others' presence in that way. Going in within, let us feel that presence of God. Great spiritual masters, having become one with God, have the same feeling of upliftment and bliss and purity that we experience in the formless, beginningless, endless aspect of divine consciousness. So to feel that bliss within you, that peace, that purity, and let it shine out to this entire world. This world is in such sore need of healing, of coming together, going beyond religion, in the sense of not fighting about it. One wants to follow a particular religion, very good. but to respect the ways that others have taken in order to approach the infinite Lord. In that sense, there is as many ways as there are people, because each one of us approach it slightly differently. And to respect that throughout all creation. Take that light and let it shine, let it inform your good works. Let it be a prayer for this world. And let others' light and inspiration continue to shine through your mind, your words, your activities. Do this, and you will pay the greatest honor to Mother and the Guru lineage. Now let us pray, O Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
I feel the wonder and the beauty
I feel the wonder and beauty
of thy glorious presence
of thy glorious presence
in every part of my being.
in every part of my being.
My heart is bursting with my love for thee.
My heart is bursting with my love for thee.
I kneel in adoration at thy feet
I kneel in adoration at thy
and
feet
surrender myself to thee.
and surrender myself to thee.
Feel the power of thy perfection
I feel the power of thy perfection
surging in every cell of my body,
surging in every cell of my body.
my mind and my intelligence
My mind and my
are
intelligence
radiant with thy healing light.
are radiant with thy healing light.
Soul is filled with the ecstasy of bliss,
My soul is filled with the ecstasy and bliss
my communion with thee.
of my communion with thee.
I and my Father are one.
I and my Father are one.
Blessed Spirit, I am He.
Blessed Spirit, I am He.
Peace.
Peace.
Bless.
Bless. Amen.
Amen. Say bow to the great light within you. May it ever shine in all of its purity, bliss, and love to uplift and ennoble this world. Jai Guru. We have some special prasad that Larry brought from Anandashram. And as well, Larry designed this card, the silver anniversary of Mother's Mahasamadhi. Hand out, and Jill had it printed up, so appreciate all the good seva. My whole wallet went forward. Yeah, maybe that was easier. Carla suggested if you want to come up here, then I can hand it down. Since our bowl does run over. You can move first. This is a banana halva that's kind of smoky flavor to it. Okay. Blessings overflow. Karma. Swami Satchidananda would put it into the children's hand. They put their hands on it, put candy in there. Pretty soon it's just flowing over as much as they could. They'd look around at their parents, see what I
One of the pleasures of being there is watching Swamiji on his daily activities, wasn't it? That's what people coming in and people leaving.
And, you notice that sod drops into your hand. It's considered between the letting go from the world. It's God then who drops it into your hand. So you can sample. Don't spoil your appetite. Banana chips are my favorite. The hot I've grown to like over time. I didn't care for it at first with the strong taste. I've grown to like it now. Larry, anything you wanted to return from the ashram? And anything you want to say about your visit there?
Not much to report. It was nice just to relax and have a time of just calm. The perfect weather. Every time to go. Everything's running rather well at the ashram. The food was in the highest category. Very good food.
That Swami Muktananda is very good spirits.
Very good spirits. I'm very spiritual in the mornings, or meeting with him and having him do his readings at that time. Yes. He did readings later in the day too, that were very nice. But he was, he's really calm. Very calm.
Something that he does that's different. This one, he does readings in the morning.
Yeah, tremendous voice. He's got a wonderful voice. He really expresses things well.
What are these made of? What are they?
It's a banana halva.
Yeah, it's banana. I think it's mostly banana, or is it got?
It's mostly banana that's cooked and cooked and cooked down so it's caramelized.
Oh. And then jaggery? Or
I think
just
jaggery,
yeah.
All day pasta.
Banana butter.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I don't know how to get the smoky flavor. Is that a mocha, do you think? Or?
I think it's from the
Fire.
fire. Yeah, I think
The
it's
open
actually
fire.
cooked in the open fire.
Yeah.
I don't know, find it useful.
It's also
Oh, fire.
I'm not finding it. It's fine with me.
Oh, that's right. You guys want to take.
If I can find it quickly. Wonderful voice. That's This is wonderful voice here.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
This day is almost gone.
This day is almost gone.
When night and morning meet,
When night and morning meet,
it will be an unutterable memory.
you will be around.
So let no unkind word
Let no unkind word
and careless doubting thoughts,
and careless doubting thought,
no guilty secret,
no guilty secret,
no neglected duty,
no neglected duty,
no wisp of jealous thought,
no wish of jealous thought,
the cloud is passing.
the cloud is past.
Now, in token of our deep and abiding love,
Token of our deep and abiding love,
we would lay aside
we will lay aside
all disturbing thoughts,
all disturbing thoughts,
all misunderstandings,
all misunderstandings,
all unworthiness.
all unwitting.
If things have gone wrong,
If things have gone wrong,
let none of us
let none of us
live their accusing finger.
live an accusing finger.
Who is to blame
Who is to blame
is not important.
is not important.
Only how shall we set the situation right?
How shall we set the situation right?
And so,
And so,
serving and being served,
serving and being served,
loving and being loved,
loving and being loved,
we shall make this
we shall make
a
this
peaceful heaven,
a peaceful heaven,
where
where
we, the children of God,
we, the children of
shall
God,
live harmoniously,
shall live harmoniously,
joyfully singing His name and glories.
joyfully singing His name and glory,
Bringing the earth our little selves
till we are eternal selves,
in His eternal being and existence.
eternal being and existence.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram.
The sun shines for others, the trees bear fruit for others, the rivers flow for the good of others, the cows eat milk for others. Human birth is likewise meant for doing good to others. Love gave us willing, caring hands to perform some helpful deed. Love gave us sympathetic words to answer someone's need. Love gave us soft hearts to aid another along the way. Love gave us smiles and laughter to brighten someone's day. Love gave us all these treasured gifts for helping one another. Love us through us all so that we care for each other. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bring a little of the ashram here. And that's there. I think we have a potluck, so I hope you